Breaking news. The Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill has failed in Oklahoma. Let's talk about what this means for you as a Bitcoin investor, what this means for the future of the overall Bitcoin legislation landscape. Of course, what Fed Chair Jerome Powell just said today about cutting rates, as well as the latest altcoin news. This is why you subscribe to Altcoin Daily for an edge investing in crypto by staying up to date. And let's start. Oklahoma's Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill fails to pass in Senate committee. The vote was so close it almost passed. But what was interesting, in Senator Guthrie's closing statement, he gave an impassioned speech about why the state of Oklahoma needs to take Bitcoin seriously. This is about a 2-minute speech. Watch this.
Seeing no debate. Senator Guthrie, would you care to close the debate? Senator Guthrie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know Bitcoin is hard to grasp. This is not something new. If you look at Bitcoin over the last 10 years, like I said, it has a 12,000% increase and 49% annualized return. There has not been a period of 4 years that Bitcoin has lost money. Bitcoin is not going away. And I also want to say thank you very much, Senator Hall, for taking the time and going through this and discussing this with me. That I really do have a lot of respect for you for that. Oklahoma can be last, or we can be at the front of the line. And there's a lot of things we're last in. And this is going to come around at some point where if we don't do this today, we're going to do this at some point. This bill puts guardrails in place. It limits to 5%. It says we're only investing in something that has a market cap of $500 billion. That is not a small investment. This does not have people's hands in it. This is not a company that can fail. Bitcoin is too big to fail. It is already in place. It is an asset. It will not fail. It cannot go away. So if you look at companies, and Senator, you mentioned .com were run by people. People are flawed. People make bad decisions, and they can fail. And what we saw with the .com, that is exactly what happened. This is not that case. Like I said, we can be first, get in first of the line, be proactive, and do something where we are having a fiduciary duty to also make good investments with our constituents' investments and money. And this is up to 5%. This does not say we have to do 5%. This says we can do 0.5%. The foreign bonds are 0.6%. That is not, I don't believe that is a good investment. This is something we could replace that with. But we could leave this in the hands of the treasurer. They're statewide elected official. They are in the position to make those good sound investments, as well as the pension board. They will vet these before they make any kind of decision such as this. So I would respectfully ask for your support and put Oklahoma on the map as moving forward. And I'll close with that, Mr. Chair.
The vote will now occur on House Bill 1203. Clerk will call the roll.
And of course, this bill went on to fail in Oklahoma. But Senator Guthrie gave such an impassioned speech, it changed some minds. Important. Politicians voting on Bitcoin Reserve legislation can be persuaded. Here, Senator Christy Gillespie's vote was changed from no to yes at last minute. None of these bills are guaranteed to pass or fail, but Bitcoiners, you can make a difference. This is how it happens.
Up until this afternoon, I have been a no, but I am going to be a yes. And I had a couple of constituents reach out to me, and because of that, because I'll be honest, I don't like voting yes on things that I don't understand, but my ignorance maybe isn't the reason to vote no. But I do. That doesn't mean that I won't be a no on the floor if it gets to that point. But because the constituents reached out and talked to me about it a little bit, I'm going to be yes today.
Wow. So actually, I guess it wasn't another senator that convinced her. It was the people. It was the constituency, average people talking to their senators and saying, this matters to me. And by the way, just for the record, this vote was so close. It was 6-5, 6 no's, 5 yeses. The no's were as followed. If this is any one of your senators, I guess in the state of Oklahoma, but there was 4 Republicans that said no and 2 Democrats that said no. That's surprising. And what this means is Oklahoma officially drops out of the race. leaving now Arizona, New Hampshire, and Texas in the lead to pass a Bitcoin reserve legislation bill in their state. It's good, actually, that Arizona has already got out of Committee 2. They're now in Chamber 2, so they passed where Oklahoma just was. We are watching and waiting on all these other states. Click subscribe because I will keep you up to date on this. And Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell spoke today. People were wondering, is he going to be bearish on the economy, meaning he will cut rates, or bullish on the economy? Will he claim the economy is strong and say we don't need to cut rates?
Despite heightened uncertainty and downside risks, the U.S. economy is still in a solid position. The labor market is at or near maximum employment. Inflation has come down a great deal, but is still running a bit above our 2% objective.
So this is why the stock market went down today. This is why Bitcoin and crypto went down a little, but actually Bitcoin held up much better. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the United States economy remains solid despite ongoing uncertainty. He could lower rates to spur the economy, but isn't. And this caused the ever slightest dip in the crypto market.
Some people believe the Fed will intervene if the stock market plummets, the so-called Fed put. Are they correct?
I'm going to say no with an explanation.
So the reason he doesn't want to lower rates is because he's still worried about inflation.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
So with the Federal Reserve offering no relief on their end, and with Donald Trump keeping tariffs high, so giving us no relief on this end, this is the real reason that all markets really, are not going up. Actually, Bitcoin holding up surprisingly well. Maybe entities globally are seeing Bitcoin as a hedge against all the BS of these governments fighting. That's interesting. And looking at latest altcoin news, SUPRA has over 700,000 active wallets. So what? Well, this is significant because it's just 136 days after mainnet. SUPRA Labs has attracted over 700,000 users to the blockchain. That's big. And according to this Web3 expert with over 7+ years in experience with tech and markets, here's a breakdown of what this really means for the ecosystem and SUPRA price. Number one, for SUPRA, this signals real demand, ecosystem demand. Over 700,000 active accounts isn't just hype. It's signal that SUPRA is solving real problems and users are sticking around. Not every chain achieves such growth without massive VC burn. SUPRA might be tapping into actual utility demand, something to pay attention to, as well as network effect. We're seeing compounding growth, meaning more users, more devs, more apps equals eventually more value. Meaning when all these fundamental metrics continue to at least sustain or grow in a bearish market, that's significant to me. That means SUPRA's infrastructure is getting sticky.
Ensure you have more than 10 SUPRA tokens to complete the staking process. Now, from the list of pools, scroll down and choose and click on Confirm button. You successfully staked your SUPRA tokens.
So the infrastructure is there, very easy to stake. And number three, and just to be real with you, token impact, carefully optimistic, because let's be real, user growth does not instantly equate to price pump. But it does create utility demand, meaning real stakers, paying gas fees, voting, etc., token velocity with network growth, and stronger fundamentals for long-term price appreciation. Again, cool to see the growth in the altcoin market. And by the way, my brother and I will be speaking at Bitcoin Conference 2025 this year in Vegas. Come hang with us and use code ALTCOINDAILY for 10% off your ticket. Seriously. It'll be great to chill with you, chill with Michael Saylor. So I'm definitely talking to some of these other big notable speakers. Link down below. Like always, see you tomorrow.